Welcome, everybody, to the Shadow Society Book Club, meeting number 7. We are officially finished with part 2 of Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Now I understand why everybody was so upset with me for only doing part 1, because part 2 is significantly better. Um, Not that it hasn't been amazing so far. I actually am really enjoying this read. I had no problem just digging out I think I did part 2 in like a one sit, which is really weird for me. So I'm either just getting good at this reading stuff or I really like this book. One way or the other, it's awesome. Does anybody have any place they'd want to start? Questions, comments, concerns, or should we start just prompting?
Let's just
Some
start prompting. I mean, I feel like
prompting?
we always get off track as soon as we start prompting stuff
We
and
do anyway.
start
Yeah, that's absolutely
thinking of things. So,
right. So we go through some pretty traumatic events in part 1, right up to the death of Darrow, which is crazy. And then he goes through what I would consider to be a Matrix moment. He definitely has some Morpheus moments happening to him all of a sudden as he realizes what the real world is actually like and the lies he's been told. And then it sort of turns into like a Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Suddenly he's totally adjusted, and now he's like, we have to meet new characters at the school we're going to, and so a little silly, but also kind of cool. I think it's going to get really good, and at least we're introducing a bunch of new characters, which should be fun. Um, so, how do we feel about the physical transformation of Darrow? Are we excited about it? Do you think it's weird? What are your thoughts?
um, I think it's extreme. I think
Yeah,
it's very interesting that, compared to other stories where you have somebody who, goes undercover or, starts a rebellion or something. Like it's they go in with a fake name and a new identity, not like literally a whole new self.
right.
um I know we introduced to some of the reasons why he needed the new body, aside from obviously fitting in and looking like everybody else so that he can't be differentiated. But
Mm.
I'm curious to see what else comes in the trials and tribulations portion where he needed the strength and the training and the whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's funny how he had all of these. He's kind of been going through the Mr. Miyagi program of mining, where all of a sudden he came out and he had all these extra abilities because he was really fast in his reflexes and all these cool things that were making him, baby girl, you always do this to me. Go ask mom to help. Love you. Um, and uh, it's been an interesting transformation. Um, I definitely I've been really happy about. I'm still trying to picture the wings situation. Has anybody looked at any fan art or any of that stuff? Like I'm trying to
No.
figure out, is he just walking around? They made some because he was talking about how his compared to um the young lady who was kind of caring for him. What's her name? I can't remember. Anyway, and they said how different they were from hers, and she kept looking at them longingly and was like, "You're really beautiful." Um, Very
hers
cool.
were hers were more
I think they're
like,
like shorter and less.
yeah, like more like not functioning but artistic.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to start pulling fan art right now and see if I can find anything to show everybody. Um, but yeah, I think the transformation was surprising. I thought like, okay, great. They think he's dead. He's the chosen one. We're gonna go ahead and do this. I had no idea they were gonna totally split, like he was gonna be this monstrous, unrecognizable thing. But hey, I'm cool with it. So, like I said, this has been a very cool book so far. Let's see. Um, what do we think of the Son of Eris methods? Do they feel like heroes, revolutionaries, or something darker?
It's just,
It's a quiet day.
I think of it like Roman times, where it's
Yeah.
like the bloodier of a ruler you are, the further you get.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Oh, let's see. I think I got a good. No,
And
he's not
throwing
wearing wings. Um, yeah, and they make a lot of like historical reference, which I think is kind of cool. So they are like he's totally mixing this world with our own and our own history and stuff, which is definitely I can definitely see the Roman feel,
it definitely feels like they got thrown into a gladiator style moment at the end of that section.
right? Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh
I'm typing
gosh.
in the
Oh,
chat because Liam started crying, so I had to start typing in the chat so he's not
it,
screaming in the phone.
The wings are on the arms, unless I read that wrong. You might
right,
have read that right.
right. That's what I kept like. Yeah, I think they like almost go like into the wrist, but I'm trying to get somebody to give me Red Rising, but nope, I don't see a wing on anybody here. Anyway, I think you're absolutely right. Um, let's see what else I got here. Question wise, it's a quiet day today, so it's cool. We can. Darrow constantly references Ao's memory. Do you think she'd be proud of what he's becoming, or do you think she'd be disappointed in this part
I don't think we've gotten far enough. I think
to
that
make that decision? Yeah,
she obviously wanted to push him into trying to make a difference, and he's doing
right.
that. I think that he has some rage issues, and I'm curious if the rage issues are natural rage issues or just rage because of the situation.
Mm.
Like, is he just a angry person who naturally goes that way, or is he just because the death of his wife and losing his own life to now this cause that he didn't want anything to do with has just made him an angry
Mm.
person.
Yeah, he definitely has a hot streak in him, right up to the point where like he wouldn't let them change his name. He was like, "You could change everything else, but you can't change Darrow. I'll always be Darrow." I think she might be upset about him being a gold, but if that's what it takes to do what needs to be done, who knows? Yeah, I agree with that. I think Kelsey's right. I think she seems like the kind of person who, if she found out everything that Darrow knew at this point, it would probably change her in ways that would make her even colder and less compassionate and more like, let's just get them. Um, so I don't know. I think she'd probably be upset that she lost the guy that she knows, but I think that also uh, she'd be happy that he was working towards something like this, especially once he like gets into the school and the plan is finally whatever, what they say, like some 100% of everybody else that they've tried, and it was something like 90 people or something was like
Something
fail every time.
ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so they were like,
I'm
something's different about you. I'd be like, I'm gonna die. This sucks.
I'm
I,
curious though how far each of them have gotten. Like we didn't get that far. Like have
right.
any of them made it to this point where they're now being picked for whatever, I forget the terminology they use, but the grooming, whatever grooming is about to occur.
Right.
No, I think they all on the previous characters have all died during transformation. They don't make it past
Okay.
They
transformation.
just don't make it through the
Okay.
cut. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
Interesting.
transformation's even more severe than it reads.
Yeah. And I did look up the wings thing on his arms. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And their winged sigils are a characteristic feature of the gold colored casts. The wings are not literal, but rather a visual representation of their caste
Oh.
status and power.
So
That
like
would
a
Like a
explain why I
mark
can't
on
find
his
a single
hand.
wing on anything I've looked at. So
tattoo?
kind of.
Kinda. It says, while the sigils look like wings, they are not actually feathered wings growing from his body.
They look like
It's,
wings, but they're not actual.
I'm more confused now.
it says the gold sigil is a golden mark often on their hand or wrist that resembles wings.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
yeah, I'm still like trying to. I'm afraid that what I'm looking at right now is going to give me more, like more than I want. like, like, don't tell me. But I can't find even a picture of a wing on him anywhere. So, I guess we'll just have to be as imaginative. Hopefully, they'll give us some more insight. But Christy, thanks for that. I appreciate that. That is helpful because all I'm looking for is like these angelic actual wings.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so sigil instead, and it's just like part of his body now. Poor guy. Now he's crushing rocks with his bare hands and stuff.
Well,
He's
I don't know how far you guys are into it, so I don't want to say any more than
oh
what they've said.
Part
oh right,
two.
because we're ahead. So we just finished part two, so we should be at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
So he just killed Julian.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he
I
hasn't
don't-
really gotten into I feel like he hasn't learned his full potential
Right,
yet. Yeah.
right. Yeah, he's ultimately like at the point where we stopped, he has decided like he doesn't need to get into any altercations because he hasn't been trained on anything combat wise. He's
Yeah.
really just getting used to his body still. So he's trying to kind of like, he's still kind of a smart ass, which is getting him in a little trouble. And it almost got him into some trouble when he first meets like his class. But um, otherwise, this fight to the death because of lack of space was his only real chance to like try himself out, I guess. So yeah, that's exactly where we stopped, which is a little frustrating. I wanted to keep going, but I'm trying to stick to the plan. Um, so yeah, he's kind of a badass. I sometimes have these dreams where I get to do this stuff where I get to like become bigger than I am, and but they always end with me going back the old way. Um, Mickey, how do we feel about the Carver? Definitely a weird character, but I was trying to figure out what movie I was picturing when I was thinking of Mickey. Did anybody have any pictures or
Hunger
anything
Games.
that just Hunger
Hunger
Games?
Games, where they're just like every time they had to like change her for the District One presentations and stuff like that, and
Right.
just the teams involved. That entire thing just reminded me of that, like her laying down and getting cleaned and waxed and
Mm.
dressed, and
Trying to figure out
the
what I
odd
pictured
characters.
though. I feel like I've seen some sci-fi movie somewhere where like that character they describe has been almost to a T, but I can't quite put my finger on it yet. If I can think of it, I'll let you know. But yeah, definitely like Mickey's character a lot. I love how like smug and gosh, what is it? I feel like it's like Blade or something. I can't picture it. Anyway,
I
um
think I know
yeah,
who you're picturing, and I can't remember what movie it's from.
I can't like he's real scrawny, but he's like super smart
Mhm.
ass and I can't figure it. Anyway, yeah, definitely a cool character in Mickey. Um, let's see what else I got here question wise. Now that Darrow has entered Gold Society, how does his perspective seem to be changing? Do you think he can keep his original purpose in focus? Uh, okay, so I think there's no question that he's going to end up in some sort of thing with the young lady who doesn't want to give him the time of day, right? Like right now, there, she's the one who, when he was riding, kind of made fun of him on the horse because he couldn't even get up, and then now she happens to be in his class, and they don't want anything to do with each other. And soon, my guess is that will flip completely, right? Does anybody have a
I
different thought?
I don't know if it's because I read so many dark romances that I'm just hoping for enemies to lovers here.
Okay, yeah, I could.
The little blush thing, like the two of them blushing at each other.
Right,
Kelsey says yes. I was going to bring that up.
yeah, I think. I think there's too much on it. I think he's gonna have to. I don't know what it'll take to like get him to stop thinking of AO, but or is it EO or AO? I've always said AO, but I don't know.
I think it's
Anyway, so
EO.
yeah, so EO is definitely his only drive right now, but he's now healthier, stronger, and more. He's gonna have everything he could ever want going forward, right? So how does he make that adjustment and not get absorbed by it? Um, So that'll be an interesting section. Did we get? Yes, we're just gonna bring that up. Yeah, I think I can't remember that lady's name, but Julian gets murdered. Anyway,
Cassian's the brother. Priam's the other
I can't believe I didn't
smarty pants.
make a
I
character
was gonna
list.
pull one, but everything when I went to go pull one for us, it said that there were a lot of spoilers if like within the like in order to explain who people were. So I didn't
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna pull one real quick, and if it looks like it's awful, then I'll let it go. But
It's probably going to be pretty awful.
yeah, this one says so. ChatGPT is pretty good about like fixing the spoiler part, so it's spoiler light. They are ranking member, rebel group.
Antonia?
So we have
Was it
dancer,
Antonia?
dancer second. So we have Mickey, Mateo. It might be, except they didn't put these in order. So let's see. Harmony, Mateo. It is Antonia, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
What do
it.
we think the relationship between Darrow and Cassius is gonna be like now that he has killed the brother?
Uh, um,
I mean, they all either there and they all had to make the same decisions. So if
right,
Cassius makes it through.
right. Is this going to be a Harry Potter and what's the other kid that they're always fighting at school now?
Malfoy?
Like Malfoy. Yeah.
Draco.
Um, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. It's funny. I finished it and then I was like, and now I've been trying not to like overthink it because I did that with the last one. But that's an interesting question. Yeah, I totally see. He's done a good job of making these scenarios kind of relatable. And like I said, like I'm obviously pulling like all these pop movie references and stuff like that. And um, yeah, I think we're gonna have a Harry Potter Draco Malfoy issue on our hands to the point where like they're probably gonna end up each getting their own fleet. And at the end, they become like the two, like they have to fight each other to, he finds out about him or something. That's
Okay,
interesting.
so let's
That's
talk about the fleet stuff. So they're like, this is super long. They're saying like it takes 10 years before you can even think about getting a fleet.
right.
So we're talking like super long game here for um, the rebellion to actually rebel.
Yeah. So are you expecting a like some like, hey kid, you're doing way better than we expected. You're excelling. We're gonna accelerate your time. Or do you think we're gonna have to wait like a 10-year period
I
to
don't
get to
know.
that?
I think we're either going to get a time jump or several throughout the series,
Right.
or their hands are going to force
Hmm.
in some way, and it's not going to lead up. It's not going to take getting a fleet to do it. Like something else is going to happen, and they're just going to have to rebel.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, I
But
hadn't
I'm guess. Oh, go ahead.
hadn't really thought about that. You're right. They totally make it seem like it takes a little while to do that. And he still has to like figure out how to survive the school he's in. Um,
Well, who are his like? Who is he working with? That's what I want to know. Like, obviously, you have the team that helped him become the gold.
right.
They don't. They seem like some of the brains behind the operation, but not the physical beings in the operation. So, who
Right.
are his allies going to end up being? Are we going to get some of the people in the school who are sympathizers, or
Mm,
are
mm,
we? Christy looks like
mm.
she's trying to like.
Trying to bite her tongue.
You have Lauren face today.
I do. I do. Yeah, no, it's there will be a lot of new characters that come about.
Bet.
But
Okay.
no,
That's
but
good to know.
just know that he's his own ally.
Okay,
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
go
got it.
go into it thinking he's his own ally.
It's gotta be a lonely fight from here on out. Yeah. Nobody in his original crew, no Dancer, no harm, nobody's ever gotten to this point. It's all been like,
Yeah.
hey, we've got this great idea if we can get somebody to here. So now they're probably all kind of like shooting in the dark, like, we gotta like be really careful and stuff. So um and it becomes more of like even the people that'll stay closest to him going forward and people that he meets anew, he'll always have this secret. He'll always have like this, no matter how cool I think you are, I'm going to stab you all in the back at some point if I can. Right. So that's an interesting question. But yeah, I don't think there's any way to get around us meeting significantly more people. I would, in a sense, I can't get Harry Potter out of my head now. So I'm trying not to keep making that reference, but I'm hoping that um, the school part, like I think that we may get a time jump now, right? Like into part three, it's like he killed to get his way in, and then all of a sudden we can get past like, and then he goes back to class, and they find out he killed his brother, and there's a whole issue. I think they may be able to jump and get right back into the turmoil further down the road. Fingers crossed. It's not that long, right? I mean, we're halfway through.
Yeah, but
Where
there's
we,
6 books in the series, isn't there? Or is there
Yeah.
more?
I think the 7th one is coming out this year at some point.
So there's 3 in the main trilogy, and then
holy
Yeah.
hell!
there's a lot in this world.
Yeah. And I've
So we
read
can
up
just
to, I think I've read up to book 5.
oh my goodness!
I have a feeling this is going to be our first one in the club where we try to vote whether or not we can like have genuine
Keep
votes to
pushing.
continue versus
Okay. Like I said, I'm always down. I think I total sidebar. This is the first month or book that I've also started a second book as well. So I feel like I'm
Hey.
getting there. Yeah, Amy decided we read too fast for her, but she decided that we're gonna do Sleep Tight.
Ooh, I have that on
So
my.
yeah,
I think I have that on my TBR.
yeah. So uh we picked those up the other day, and so now I'm reading that too. And that's two totally different worlds. So like I have to keep my sci-fi brain and then go this way for the mystery thriller stuff. But
Yep,
sorry,
I'm
just
doing
wanted to
Broken
sidebar.
Rebel.
Yeah, I think most of you are like such good readers that you're like, oh yeah, we'll do this, but I'm also like I need to be reading constantly, so I want to do this thing. I'm trying
Yeah,
to get to that point. I'm trying to like my goal is to put this down all the time and then get my just like
yep.
always reach for a book or something instead. Um, okay. Would you trust Harmony or Dancer more?
I want to make sure I'm not mixing them up. I think Harmony.
Harmony's the Spitfire who does end up helping him
Yeah,
out, and once he gets to his some of his physical conditioning back, she's the one that pushes him harder.
yeah.
And Dancer kind of sits back and he's just like, "Hey, we're gonna." Uh, he's kind of running the show in his broken old self. Um, yeah, I think I'm more Team Harmony than Team Dancer. I feel like because of like her little bitterness in the beginning, she's more likely to stay loyal. I feel like there's like she's kind of like a harder nut to crack, and now that they've kind of become tight and she helped him like elevate to the next level, they've created a bond there that's a little different than what he might have with Dancer.
I feel like there's a bluntness to her
Yeah.
that leads more to that comes off as more honest.
Yeah. Right.
Kelsey's is Dancer. Oh
Oh,
no, she thinks Dancer has a hidden agenda. Sorry, I didn't scroll all the way up.
right. Right. 100%. 100% with his Morpheus wannabe self. Yeah, I think it's definitely Harmony all day. Christy, I feel bad. I didn't know you were at like book 5 on this. She's like,
Okay.
I know everything.
No, there's a lot that happens in every book. So, I mean, I was trying to read them all together, and I
Right.
was getting really burnt out on the fighting part of it.
Oh,
So I had to be like, I have to stop for a while. So,
interesting.
I feel like that happens a lot with really large series. You're like so excited that you can stay in
Yeah.
this world forever, but then it's like, oh, I gotta get out of this world for a bit.
Yeah. Once I started the fifth book, I couldn't even like I was reading it, but I wasn't like paying attention to even what was happening. I'm like, I need to do something else for a while. So
Interesting. Okay. Okay. That's good to know too. So maybe that's if we do decide to like make a streak out of this series that we um decide to take a break in the middle somewhere and then come back or something just to kind of give ourselves a little break. Uh that does remind okay, so I have one more question. I don't even know how good it is. Sorry for that. This section part two introduces passing as a theme. How does Darrow's infiltration relate to real world issues of identity, class, or privilege? Ooh. It seems like too serious a question. It's gross. It's like, well, I don't want to talk about real world issues. Let's talk about the stuff in the book.
I'm gonna say we all focus on fantasy for a reason.
Yeah, right. Because nobody wants to go out there. All right, so skip that part. Question is, and let me make sure I've got this right because I don't want to screw it up. When we are at week 2 of a 4-week read, we need to start having everybody get your mystery thriller titles submitted if you have something else you want to add to the list, because I, by next meeting at the latest, we have to have a new book picked so that everybody has time to grab a copy and get whatever we're into, or veto and say, hey, we're going to book 2. Um, so just a reminder for that, everybody make sure you start throwing in your mystery thriller titles. Did anybody have anything in this part 2 section that we didn't cover in my really basic questions today?
I think we talked about all the things that I needed to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think that so far in the first half, I haven't found anything that I'm like major cliffhanger stuff, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to find out what's going on here, or everything's fairly straightforward. Um, which is cool. I'm down for that too. I don't need every chapter I read to leave a mystery um going forward. I think, you know, it definitely leaves us with a little bit of a, oh, what happens now that he's made his first kill. But yeah, I don't think it's like there's not a lot of like, ooh, I'm left in the dark about, X, Y, and Z. Um, yeah, Kelsey says she feels the same way. Um, cool. I think that Pierce Brown has been pretty. How does everybody feel about Pierce Brown as a writer? Do you feel like and I'd even say go so far as to say, like, do you have a favorite between him and Sanderson? Do you like one versus the other?
Pierce.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're liking the way he builds his characters better than, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew that was definitely an issue with the Sanderson stuff. And I'm hoping that we can move into some newer stuff that Sanderson has done and see if that has evolved at all. But yeah, Pierce Brown has definitely been an easier read for me. I think it all just feels smooth and it feels well put together, and I haven't felt like we've been hanging too long in any one place. Although I did sort of feel like um the whole surgery rebuild scenario. I was like, okay, all right, just okay, he's good. We got it. He healed. We figured it out. Let's go. But otherwise, I didn't feel like there was anything that was like kind of dragging. And I don't want to do too many author comparisons, but I definitely felt like there was some hangups in the Mistborn stuff. So um, this is cool. I think Red Rising has been a good pick. Does anybody have anything that you'd like to touch on, or we can jump right into, like, if anybody wants to talk about potential new titles or any of that stuff coming up, I'm down. Does anybody want to start the conversation about where we
Yeah.
might go next?
In this
Do you have-
genre? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christy.
no, that's okay. I was just gonna ask, do you have how many like submissions do you have for mystery thriller?
So what's cool, I don't know if it's cool, but what I did when I first started the club was I went through Instagram, TikTok, and anything else I could find where like people who consider themselves heavy readers were starting to make recommendations on titles. And so I made this like really ragtag list of all the stuff that I thought sounded cool or came highly recommended and kind of put together this list. And if you are on the Discord, you can find the reading list. 2025 reading list there's a link to a Google sheet a Google Doc that you can find in here.
It is
And I'm
still
just going to open it up.
protected though.
Is it? Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me
I
try to
sent you a
fix that.
request just now.
Okay.
If you try to edit it, you have to get a permission.
Okay. May not be the worst thing in case somebody joins in and then we piss them off somehow. And then, as far as mystery thriller titles, I have something like 14 on the list, including Ask for Andrea, Like It Never Was, She's Not Sorry, Kill for Me, Kill for You, The Only One Left, Keep It in the Family. It's funny how these titles read. The Business Trip, The Mirror House Girl, What the Wife Knew, Look Closer, Listen for the Lie, Home is Where the Bodies Are,
That
and
was a good
Glass
book.
Houses. So those are literally just titles of me getting recommendations from stuff. So you can definitely view it if for some reason you are trying to get something on the list and you haven't gotten the permissions. I was trying to open this thing up. I don't know how to do it. I'll figure it out today and make sure I
It's
try
okay.
to.
I've just been putting them in Discord, like the
Yeah,
ones
perfect.
that I wanted to add. So
Perfect. Perfect. And so basically what I do is just before we get to another pick, I go through and make sure I just check back through that suggestion list and just kind of find everything that we can that has been added recently and try to make sure it's added to the list before we do it. And then if you haven't seen it, I got myself this funny. Oh, you sure did. Hold on, let's see if I can get you permission here, and then we'll know. Editor, yep, good. All right, Lauren, you should be able to access now. Let me know if that works. So I got this fun little, it's called Tiny Decisions, this little app. And it basically allows me to add as many titles or this one's for Dice Throne. We're wildly addicted to this game Dice Throne and we randomize our picks. So basically like I can put everybody on there and then I hit the button and it screams right through. It'll even read it to you when it.
okay.
Oh, there it goes. Nope, it didn't read the name. Oh well, whatever. So then that's how we pick. We just let it randomize our next title.
Okay.
And so we felt like that was the way. But don't forget that we do have the veto option. So if I announce the pick, you do have the opportunity. What do we decide? If you're in the meeting when we announce the book, then you have the opportunity to submit a veto and say like, hey, I know we're supposed to be moving on to mystery thriller, but Red Rising has been amazing. I prefer that we move on, keep it with the series and move on to book 2. And if anybody comes with a good argument, we all just decide like, hey, awesome, let's do it. So there is some chances to break from the cycle, but otherwise we're just going to try to keep rotating through our genres so that if somebody has, a favorite, we don't keep you out of your favorite genre for super long. Otherwise. So, and again, I guess in order, we're mystery thriller now, and then we'll go back to fantasy. Or how did we do it? Hold on, I gotta look.
Yeah, it was fantasy, horror,
horror. We kept horror separate,
sci-fi.
Right?
Yep,
Sci-fi.
and then thriller.
Mystery thriller. There was a question on whether or not we're adding action adventure as a genre. Do we feel like that's a thing, or should we?
Just so we can throw Dungeon Crawler Carl in there. I think that's like the only book I can think of that.
Yeah, I think I stuck him in my sci-fi list. And I'm down. If you hit, I would just happily pick that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I say we stick with the 4. I feel like action adventure is kind of loose. Like every one of these is a bit of an action adventure. So, but if somebody has, again, I feel like if somebody's really got an action or adventure title that doesn't fall into these categories, but is worth a veto, use your veto, right? Like go ahead and throw it in the mix and we can talk about it. And if everybody's down, again, I'm going to be the easiest to convince because I know nothing about anything. So I'm like, let's go. Versus some of you all who are more seasoned readers. So mystery thriller is next. So keep your start submitting your titles now. I'm kind of already in that realm with Sleep Tight. And of course, don't be afraid if you wanted to add this to the list to go ahead and do it. Just because I'm reading it doesn't mean that there's no, like we're doing we're doing Red Rising now, and half of you have already read it, and the other half are way ahead. So feel free to just because I'm already reading something doesn't mean we can't get it into the group.
Are
Gosh,
we
what
doing
else?
Are we doing cross genre stuff? So like if something is like sci-fi horror, putting it in both sci-fi and horror for the draw?
It's a good question.
Because I have a lot of those.
Some like sci-fi horror stuff or like
Yeah.
fantasy horror stuff. I
Mhm.
think yeah, I would say both is okay with me. What would you prefer?
I would prefer to put it because it technically doesn't belong to one or the other, and
Right.
when it's read, we take it off of the list completely.
Yeah. Chrissy, do you have a thought?
No, I think that's a good idea. If it
Okay.
falls in two categories like that, absolutely put it on both. I mean,
Yeah. Can't
yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
Can't hurt. It's good to have another one
It
in the wheel.
gives it a few more chances to get picked, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Um, okay, cool. Yeah, then do that. Put them in both. If you are looking through the list and you see something where I've only put it in one, but you want me to put it in another, let us know. Lauren, you should have access now. So if you
Yeah.
see something, you're welcome to jump ahead of me and put stuff in. So if you want
Okay.
to just be like if you happen to be on the list one day and you're like, oh, I'll add that, just go ahead and like make a little note under it, and that way I won't double add it. And then if anybody else wants access versus just being able to put it in suggestions, just let us know and we'll get you access too. So it's a little bit easier. But um, cool. Does anybody have anything else that we'd like to touch on today? This has been a pretty short meeting, but I think um, definitely some of our bigger talkers have had to miss this one. So, but that's okay. It's okay. Christy, not that you're not a talker. We know that you just are biting your tongue, which is totally, we
Yeah,
appreciate you keeping
this
secrets
one
for
I'm
us.
just trying to keep my but I enjoy coming even though because
I
I
love that you do.
honestly I was like, do I read it again? And then I was like, no, I'll just listen to him talk about it and learn, like watch you guys be excited about it like I was when I read it the first time. So
I love it. I love it.
So
Yeah.
Christy, I gotta ask. There's a lot of books that like I've recommended to friends, and then like they'll come back and text me every couple chapters. I got Kelsey hooked on quite a few series, and is this one of those ones like for a lot of those? I'm like, oh, I really want to go back and read it now. Or is this one of those where you like it's that good that you want to go back and read it when you
I
hear
think
people talk about it?
the first three in the trilogy, yes.
Okay,
Yes. And I think the first three were really good. It's when you get further in, but then I've heard like Lightbringer is like the best of all of them. But
that's
that's like
six, right?
book six or something. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to get to that one and see what was happening in that book that was so fantastic. But I had to take a break, like I said.
I feel like all
So
of the long series have that. I mean, like you look at like Throne of Glass and the stupid
yeah.
Tower of Dawn
Well, and
book.
this one, the further you get in, I feel like the thicker the books get. So then
Yeah.
you're just it's like, oh my gosh, this book is 800 pages. Like now I get, you know.
I picked one up the other day that I didn't see how many pages it was, but it's one fantasy book and it's this thick, and I'm like, holy God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't mess around.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I just confirmed. I know I screwed it up, so I totally edited it this morning. But our current read is chapters 20 through 33 to get through all of part three. So if anybody was looking for chapter specifics, stop at 33. Um, I do like that the chapters are kind of short. Like he's not afraid to like
Yeah.
make a 3-page chapter versus like, oh, we'll just make them all 35 pages and just dragging through. Like, when's it gonna end? I feel like I'm just kind of quietly pooping on Sanderson, so I'm gonna try to not do that.
I mean, I ranted on him for like an entire 4 weeks, so I'm just
Yeah,
letting you know.
it's fair. It's fair. And I don't know anything from anything, so it's but yeah, I don't have anything else to compare it to. So, awesome. I appreciate that we've made it through six technically, but our seventh meeting, and people are still showing up and stuff. And it's been really cool to be able to do this. And I get excited about Wednesdays now, which is nice because Wednesdays is usually a pretty awful day of the week because we still have halfway to go. But um, Kelsey's back. Hi.
My son finally
And
fell asleep.
I know, man, I remember those days. Sheesh. I just watched both of mine walk by, and both of them are in dog costumes. They're probably sitting downstairs in dog costumes eating pizza on the couch. Um, it's been really cool to be able to like have these little meetings with you guys. And Kelsey, we're super happy to have you. And again, just as a reminder, if you've got friends, coworkers, whatever, who might be interested in getting in on this, I don't want to make it too big. I think like if we had 10 people in a group, we'd all be talking over each other and stuff, and it might get a little too much. So I've done a lot less of like the posting on Instagram stuff. I do think I'll probably still just kind of like announce the next book that's coming and do stuff like that on our social, but it's going to be less like everybody come one, come all, because I think if it got too much bigger, we'd all lose our voices completely. So, um,
My mom will be joining for the next couple because she's staying with me for a month. So she's
that's
currently
awesome.
reading it.
Wait, is mom
That's
reading Red Rising?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know she was reading it.
not yet. She hasn't started yet, but she's going to be caught up by the time she gets here, I think. So
Oh, okay.
that's awesome. My mother-in-law was supposed to join, and I think she has a copy of Red Rising. I don't know how far she is, but I'll just keep sending her the meeting stuff, and we'll see if she'll be back this weekend. So I'll find out for sure. But um, my granddaughter's coming soon.
oh,
I
yay.
know, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So um, I went. Kelsey and Christy, you all don't know. Lauren's known me for a while, but I went from single to being a dad at 40 to having
Wait, single,
two,
never gonna kids, never gonna get married too.
right? See, like it was never going to happen to all of a sudden, the stepson first, who's 23, then her son, then daughter, and now granddaughter at 7 year at like this almost 8 year mark. So,
Oh my
um,
man.
yeah, I'm on the fast track. I should be dying any day now. But uh, yeah, so we're super excited. So there may, depending on when she arrives, there may be a hiccup. They're not gonna let her get to end of May. Um, and they're gonna probably force her out pretty soon. I'll just kind of keep everybody updated. If we end up having to push a meeting, that's the only reason I could think of coming up that might happen. But otherwise, we'll just stay on top of the same schedule as long as everybody's cool with it. Um, if again, don't forget to throw in your titles. Any other suggestions that you have for this group? If you want it to be more exciting somehow, or if somebody wants to lead a meeting, or you
I have a
anyway to
suggestion.
okay, cool.
I would like your lovely wife to join us.
All right. So you're gonna have to call her directly because
Okay.
she decided that we are moving too quickly for her. And I think that she's also like, the next book will be in a genre that she's really feeling. I think it's been hard for her. It's
Okay.
always been a weird thing for her to get into like the fantasy stuff. Like I can't get her to watch Lord of the Rings. I can't get her to do um, you know, any like the really like fantasy 101 kind of stuff, right? The Harry Potters, any of that stuff. So every once in a while she'll go a little sci-fi, especially if they make it creepy. So, in mystery thriller and in horror, she may jump right back in, but she may kind of jump in and out depending on what she's into. Um, we oh, I thought I had it right here. Sorry that you're seeing the back of my head for a second. But Lauren, you recommended a book to her that was
The
sitting right in
Akatar.
front of me. Yeah, 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 yeah. So we have this guy, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yep. Court of Thorns and Roses.
So, so is
That's
this
where
where
she
we start
started
to
me
get
on
into
the
like the
rabbit hole.
romanticy stuff? Is that what they call it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
Yeah.
this is? Okay.
It's high
It's been
fantasy, but it's a romantasy novel. Yeah.
okay. So we did agree that these can be added into the list. Flora and I will just read them like this with another book in front of it.
You should listen to
But
the audiobooks. There's dramatized versions.
oh
You know
goodness.
what's funny though is like I watch TikTok and there are wives on there that get their husbands to read it and they end up getting so sucked into it they can't
Yes.
keep reading it.
So, this is probably a good time for me to admit that my wife is heavy into like the trash TV stuff. So she's got me watching like Love After Lockup and The Real Housewives and things like that. Things you see Lauren's face, she's like, I know you. That's weird. And it is weird, but like I've officially transitioned into a new phase of my
I
life.
love it.
So yeah, so
Amy just came
uh
in like a whirlwind and said, "Yeah, you think?"
she was like, yeah, she basically said, deal with it. So, and eventually it was like, oh, and I'm quite opinionated. I don't know if you know that about me, but so I sit around and we just talk shit all the time, which is pretty fun. So anyway, we already own a copy of this. So if we get to this, she may jump in on that too. But yeah, if you've got anybody, like I said, this is an open group still. So anybody who you think, even if it's just for a single book, somebody wants to jump in with us, just absolutely send them the invite. If you need me to send it to you or to them, let me know. But most of you seem pretty comfortable with Discord, so it should be pretty easy. Um, and otherwise, yeah, I think that's it. Does anybody have anything they want to end on today? No? Awesome. In that case, I love you all. Thank you for doing this with us. It's been super fun. Enjoy part 3, and we'll see you next Wednesday. And this is officially the end of the Shadow Society Book Club. We'll see you all next week. I love you. Bye.